Bradford, what day is it?
14th of October.
14 launch day.
Let's go.
I might be more excited than most normal people. We've been looking forward to this day for a long time. It also happens to be cheaper Model 3 and Model Y launch day. Market seems to be a bit disappointed in those. Honestly, I thought they were kind of right in line. We'll get to that in a minute. But I think the big news of today, which we'll spend a good chunk of time on, is V14. How much time did you spend looking at videos of that today?
I was taking them in like a fire hose. Yeah, I was very impressed with what V14 is doing. Its ability to reverse, turn around, park. It's very quick parking. It parks in the designated spot. It looks very good, very smooth. I'm curious to learn more how it looks now that more people are getting their hands on it. People are driving it during the day, driving it around traffic. I'm guessing it'll do a little better around traffic. So yeah, real curious about it. Some early, slight negatives about it is it seems to be braking a bit harshly. I don't know if it's in the middle of turns, so I think there's some things to clean up. And I'm a little disappointed Elon's talking about this version not going out wider, waiting until a few weeks from now to.
Well, he unless I missed something else that he said afterwards, he did say that it's going wide now.
Okay.
So that was a post that came out today. Yeah, that V14 is .1 is going out wide.
Better. I mean, it's really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean that still might mean that it might take a few days for everybody to get it. And it sounds like it's be coming out on Cybertruck too, which is definitely good news because Cybertruck can be a little bit like the redheaded stepchild when it comes to FSD updates. So I'm curious for you to see how good or not that version of it is. But yeah, overall, I was really impressed with it. It's interesting. You said you think it'll do a little bit better with more traffic around. The first video I saw was actually whole Mars taking it out in Hollywood and at 3 a.m. And like it was pretty good, but like also it was like circled around a totally empty parking lot one time and just did like some weird kind of braking thing. Like for the most part, it was good, but I think people should still have in mind that like it's not going to be perfect yet. I think that the rate of improvement is going to be pretty rapid, and I think the key thing is it doing anything that's safety critical? I have early days, so I wouldn't expect to see anything, but so far, clearly all the issues have been nitpicks, not like tried to run into that old lady.
I have a controversial take.
All right, I'm here for it.
Except for the little jerkiness and the braking, I think the robotaxi's ready for unsupervised. We're seeing with some of the testers where it's just circling, but what the car's trying to do is it's trying to find a parking place, and it's not finding the particular parking place that's been chosen in the user interface. So I think some of them they're choosing a garage parking place, and it can't find a garage parking place, or it can't get into the garage because the garage was closed because it's like 3 a.m. Pacific time. So you see the searching behavior that it's doing, kind of like these endless loops when I was driving around version 12 with Farzad in Austin is doing that. The robotaxi isn't looking for a parking spot. It's looking to drop the person off at the destination. And this is something Tesla's already solved, pick up and drop off for robotaxi. So this issue of the circling is not an issue for robotaxi.
Yeah, at least with the whole Mars one I saw, like literally the whole parking lot was empty, and then it just it changed its mind and decided to park in a space like really not that big of a deal. And if he had park in the garage set, for example, then it might make sense why that would be the case, and that just would be something that Tesla would want to clean up so that the normies, who aren't watching all these, latest videos,
Yeah.
why am I circling around? You want that to be as smooth as possible. And maybe if it, recognizes that this is a restaurant, you don't have a garage option, so there's probably stuff like that they can improve on. And I'm sure they will in the, weeks and months to come. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm really excited for it. So, getting back to your controversial claim, though, that it's, basically robotaxi is ready. So do you think the safety observers are ready to come out now? Would you go that far?
Yeah, and I don't think their only role in the car was for safety. It's like, observing pickup, drop off, other qualitative things with the robotaxi service. So, provided they have that figured out in a given area, and especially the higher traffic things like hotels, sporting events, event centers, things like that. Provided that's figured out in those areas, they can move those safety monitors on to other nearby areas. It looks to be very good. I'm curious how it does with, lane choices when there's, more cars on the road. I just think the behavior in general is going to be better with more cars on the road, because I'm guessing there's more training data when there's more cars present. I don't think Tesla hammers the model with a bunch of training data from, just empty roads. Like, I don't think that's super beneficial. There's probably some of that in the training data, so the car knows what to do.
Yeah.
But it seems a little unsure at night, like when the roads are totally empty.
Yeah, and I mean that would be kind of similar to the case we spoke about recently, where like the boring company tunnels like should in theory be the first place that they would go, but they're so limited in the training data that they would have from that. Like it's not a priority to train on how to, drive perfectly in an underground tunnel. So it does sort of make sense that if you're optimizing for the more complicated decisions, like I saw Chuck Cook's left turn today, for example, and that was a super complicated one. I think he was waiting for like a full minute before he could even pull into the median, but like it handled it absolutely perfectly. But they're clearly training on that, very aggressively. So I think it does make sense that the training data is probably a bit lighter on the easier situations, and that's maybe why it's it's not making mistakes. It just is slightly less human. So Elon is talking now about this feeling sentient, and from what I saw of whole Mars thing, it was making some really good decisions. At one point it like wanted to pass a slower car, but it realized that it needed to turn left soon, so it kind of changed its mind. And so like seeing that type of behavior is a good sign. But I think
I also saw it find its way out of the parking garage for whole Mars. He took it all the way up to the fourth level of a parking garage, and it went down. It tried to get out the first exit. It was too far from the gate to put in your ticket and your card. And it ended up just backing up on its own and found a way out like the basement, like there was a second exit. So I think this parking garage was on a hill. So there was a second exit, but then that was closed, and the car literally reversed all the way out and went back to the first exit. And
that's pretty cool.
Then it ended up being like not quite close enough for his short arms. So he ended up having a person with him to help him pay for it. So it is amazing. Like it was like trying to figure out how to navigate, and it did pause for when he tried to pay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It does seem like those are the sorts of situations where you could count on it to fail in prior versions. Like, there's this one like parking garage near me where like the exit is like pretty unusual. It's like this very narrow thing, and there's no signs for it or anything like that. It like I've tried it a couple times, and it just like loops endlessly, and I'm like, all right, well, not sentient yet. So it seems like we're at least on the path where some of that like path finding is a bit improved, and it's able to handle more and more complicated situations.
I did put a list on my pin post on X. So my on X, I'm at Brad S Ferguson, and I have a list of people who have v14.1. You definitely want to check out Chuck's videos. It seems very fast as far as parking. So it's very quick, and it's like getting it dead on right away. It may try to do a handicap spot, but other than that, like it's parking in the spot, not like straddling two spots or anything like that. Also, John Kraus from John Kraus Photography, he's in the early group. He said that it pulled over for, I believe, an ambulance that went by that was coming up behind him. And he thought that the decision that it made in the behavior was really good, and it's what he would have done in that situation.
Yeah, and Dirty Tesla, I was watching one of his first take video today too. So he had some, I forget the exact specifics, but he's got a kind of complicated dirt road, and it pulled in a way that it never has before on one of those, and then he also had it pull into the garage for the first time, which it's like a kind of normal cluttered garage, and it pulled right in. Now it did kind of leave the back end hanging out a little bit, so I'm kind of curious with that one because. Like the garage is a pretty tricky situation. And like, I know in my case, like we've got a big Ford Transit kind of taking up like almost exactly half of our driveway, and then like a fairly cluttered garage. So like there's enough space, but like I have a feeling it's going to take a while before the Tesla's actually confident enough to kind of pull in, manage everything and like to do so confidently in those types of situations where there's, like toys and bikes and, like a ladder and all that sort of stuff with somewhat tight angles between the side of the garage that you need to squeeze in and any cars that might be in the driveway. So it sounds like there's a bit of improvement still to be done on that. But overall, I mean, on like well-marked and open parking spots, I was really impressed, especially with superchargers. That's one thing I'm definitely excited to try out next time I head down to Indianapolis. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how it handles a supercharging stop where, you don't have to take over and do the reverse and all that, to just like truly have it do the entire drive. I'm really looking forward to checking that out.
All right, so I'm kicking some things to my editor, see if he can pick those up real quick. But another one I've been gorging on today is Canada FSD. That's the name of the channel on YouTube. Guy named Devin Olson. So he's someone who's been testing for a bit and definitely puts it through its paces. So he lives near Vancouver, but he's like maybe an hour and a half away from Vancouver. So yeah, he's one of those that also experienced some issues with braking. So yeah, I woke up at 5 and I saw that Omar's catalog or Omar was broadcasting live, and so yeah, that was my morning.
I did not see that at the time. I think I reposted his like fake one where like it was, like all the ridiculous features that was just, he made up some fake v14 thing last night. And I reposted that for like 2 seconds and I was like, wait, Homar's sometimes just, does these made up ones. So I had to take that one down. So should we look at a couple of these videos that we've got queued up, or do you have something else?
Let's do one. Have a gander.
So let's try the drive-through first. I actually haven't seen this one yet, so I'm looking forward to it. So this is Chris from Dirty Tesla, I believe, if I'm wrong. That looks wild with those wipers.
I skipped forward.
All right, thank you.
You're skipping backwards. What's going on?
I'm not doing that. I think we had too many cooks in the kitchen. Sorry.
Hi, welcome to Wendy's. We'll be using our mobile rewards today. No, thanks. I'll just take a small fry.
Small fry? Yep.
Would you like to donate $1 to help children in
He's-
foster care today?
No, thank you.
He's totally testing FSD.
All right, thank you.
I want the cheapest item on the menu.
Gosh, and then it does move up. How? How does it know?
So did he not hit the accelerator
All
there?
right, now you gotta get up to the window,
No.
though.
How
That's
do we
wild.
know?
Does it have a microphone where it's capturing
Yeah,
that?
it's got a
then?
microphone in the car to listen for emergency vehicles.
All right, so
I
stop
guess
at the
that's-
window.
Hi, 264.
There you go. Oh my gosh. How will it know when to go? Thank you.
It's got a
Thank
camera.
you.
It's going to watch the bag,
It's not me.
and hopefully it's going to look for like
How does it know?
them having your credit card.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't roll
How
up the
did it
window
know?
or anything.
It
How does
waited
it know?
for him to have the card.
Well, so what if you had
What the hell's
another
going
bag
on
or
in this place?
you were waiting on a drink or something like that? Like, I guess
Let's
obviously
go.
you can hit the brake, but like that is so wild because that's a whole new type of learning that we've never seen before of like how to handle, a non-road situation like that. So they've clearly been training on drive-throughs and looking at the internal camera, I'm sure, and the microphone, and like maybe thank you is a cue or something like that. But however they've done it, they're taking all these like soft cues of when is this transaction done and is it time for us to pull away and actually doing that. I hadn't seen that before. That's actually super impressive.
So there was this crucial hire that Tesla got from Waymo, and he posted today. I think his name's like Michael Key or something. He said that there's some, and we got another video coming, but let me finish my thought.
No,
He said that there's some long
new video now.
There's some long planning horizon items where people haven't seen the functionality yet. So I'm wondering with the drive-through, the bag came over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the car could have gone then.
Yeah.
But
right.
then his credit card would have been at the drive-through.
Yeah.
So like it was trained on like waiting for that credit card handoff to happen too.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive.
I'm very curious to try this out for myself because like I used to go to this pharmacy where they would put your credit card in the bag with all your medications that you were picking up too. So like, how would it handle that situation? Like I'm sure there's sometimes when it would handle these incorrectly for a given particular situation that it just like has to make a choice on and it chooses the wrong one. So I think people should still be ready to kind of take over if you don't have your credit card. But overall, I'm just like super impressed with this. I think it's very impressive. And like you'll get into these crazy situations, I'm sure, where they like they tell you to go ahead and pull over to spot B or something like that because your food's not ready and they don't want you blocking the lane. I'm sure it won't be able to handle that at least right away. But having this type of capability is impressive. I actually was not expecting this so far. Well, looks like you're looking at something else. So I'll share another one that I saw today, which was there was a construction zone and you had one of those guys, like with the stop sign until like this construction truck kind of crossed in. And then, so it was visualized the guy with the stop sign. And then as soon as the guy kind of went to the side, it just like perfectly proceeded, as you would as a human. So, I tend to get a little cautious at those because I've had some situations before where like it gets a little too close to the person and you want to be very confident in what it's going to do in a situation like that. But I mean, it handled that one perfectly, good amount of space back and, started going at a slow, but reasonable pace, exactly as you'd want when like, a guy's kind of like walking out of the way, but you're still in an active construction zone. So I was really impressed by that one too.
All right, so let's load up a video. We'll live react to it.
Thinking through, can they distill this down for hardware 3 to drive? I think this part, yeah. But that reaction time,
yeah,
I just think needs the... Oh, here we go. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Like a boss. Totally pulled over and stopped.
Yes, that was like
Never
a boss.
did that on 13.2. So that's in the release
look at
notes.
that. And then like a boss, it's like...
That's in the release notes. It totally pulled over, honored the ambulance.
That was 2 thumbs up, Tesla. Really well done. 100%.
I give
You
that.
did it. So that behavior, that's a new function. That behavior wasn't there before. And it aggressively pulled over.
That was, yes, very
quick.
instantly.
Because we were crossing each other. If it hadn't have pulled over that fast, it would have been useless, right? It had passed us already.
Right, and when we noticed this is when it did it. So to me, it was we were pretty reactive to it. We saw it as humans.
I wonder if a car was right behind us, if it would have aggressively stopped like that.
Yeah, and kind of like put that into the equation and see what.
Totally did it though.
Yeah,
Immediate.
There were no sirens. That was just lights.
Yeah.
So it had nothing audible to hear there.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's I mean, that's been one of the times I've had to take over, obviously, is, in 13.2, having, those situations. It's, like you don't want to like test it and it's not doing it, but you could tell. And then he confirmed as soon as they saw it, it pulled over right away and stopped, which is like exactly what you should do. So that's super encouraging.
And that was OG Mars Life with Chuck Cook. We got another Chuck Cook.
Points is a crazy intersection. It's got, this is as non-standard as you get. It needs a traffic circle, but it's been here since the
Turn it down a little.
10s probably. It's a little flashing light in the middle. It's got stop signs everywhere. Some people have the right of way, but I think it's going to come over here to the right. So it's got this weird intersection. It has done everything at this intersection before based on how I manipulated the route. Like if I deleted the point, it tried to go around that little light, which it can't. It's not a traffic circle. I'm going to have it park again just to kind of see if it does a nose. Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, do you see that stop? It stopped because of the car turning left, and then it reacted to that car kind of taking its turn.
His pen is right after
and then going. Okay, so now let's see. There's angle spots to the right. Hey, look, it's in the freaking lines. Boss. See, I don't know if it saw the lines or not, but it stopped in the lines.
Now watch
and
this.
Look, my destination may be closed when you arrive. I've got Biscotti's in there, which is a little restaurant just to kind of go a destination here.
So like, some people, they'll wait to re-engage it. They'll wait for traffic or whatever. And what Chuck does here is he doesn't wait, and he lets the car, you'll see, but watch the car use its judgment for when to go, and like everything was totally good. Here.
Okay, so now we're in the angled forward parking spots. This woman is doing a U-turn. I'm just gonna start self-driving right now. It's in reverse.
Like a non-ideal time to start.
Man, look at that.
It's all good.
Yeah, guys, it's got this. That was really good. I mean, okay, there's a lot of ways that I can probably try this 10 times. It's going to get 10 different scenarios, but it has handled the scenario very well on the parking before. Adding parking to the V14 stack is a game changer as compared to auto park. That is probably, I'm going to call the biggest function change that I'm feeling right now. I mean, driving is driving. I mean, it's been doing really good, but to functionally add the beginning and the end of the drive, the ends of the bell curve, as I've talked about it before, you've basically got end-to-end driving now, as long as it's conservative enough when it needs to be careful. And we got a new alert to tell you when to pay more attention.
Ready.
That was really interesting how quickly it made those decisions. That seems to be one of the biggest changes. One of the other things I noticed when I was watching Dirty Tesla's first drive was he was doing this thing where he would disengage it and then he like immediately like re-engage. And like, a lot of times, like if your steering wheel is turned or like you've disengaged, it'll wait a couple seconds. Like that's gone now. Like it's just always on. It is always ready to take over. And like he did this like 10 times, like disengage back, disengage, boom, disengage, boom. And it was like always just like completely ready immediately. So I think we're going to have way fewer of those situations where like you push the button and it's just like not ready for whatever reason. There was another one, which was super interesting. I'd never seen before. So this is a new function where it did like the red hands to like, take over. And then it just changed its mind. It's like, oh, you know what? Actually, I've got this. I don't need you to take over. So it just remained on FSD. So like, its ability to course correct in these situations is super impressive, and it just seems like the decisiveness is significantly improved.
So we got another one. I'm going to pull up before we do the parking garage one. this John Krause. So way he describes it is the car starts to get over for the ambulance, and you could have like gunned it to pull over in front of another car, but there was a car behind him and to the right. So let's take a look at this one.
Ambulance behind me. It's trying to get over.
So you can see his mirror to the right. There was another car. So I think that was just about right.
Mm-hmm.
And it got over. It stopped. So it's handling for the emergency vehicles. Maybe the car could have decided to jump ahead and then get over further to the right, but that would have been awkward. So
yeah. Well, and I think with
emergency, correct.
Well, I think with emergency vehicles too, like as long as they can interpret what you're doing, like that's probably the safest thing. Especially since it was clear for them to actually go across the yellow lines, the ambulance to go across the yellow lines. Like, I think that decision is probably better than like trying something super aggressive that might, freak out the other people or might freak out the ambulance a little bit. Like, a lot of times if I'm in a situation like that where you're trying to get over, the best thing to do is just try to make as much space as possible, but then just remain static, so they're not watching a moving vehicle and trying to figure out, okay, are they maybe going to pull back out in front of me or something like that. So to me, that looks like a perfectly reasonable way to handle that situation.
All right, next one. Going into the parking garage, I believe.
Is this whole Mars?
I believe this is Zach, Black Model 3.
Okay.
So as soon as he grabs his ticket, it proceeds.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so it's not just drive-thrus that they've trained on, clearly.
Yeah, so his handle on X is BLKMDL3, Black Model 3. Yep. So just wanted you to see the behavior of it going into the stop till he has a ticket, and then proceeding immediately after he's got his ticket in the gate.
Yeah, so on that one, I was kind of wondering, like, was it reading exit signs? Because like there was a sign I saw that said exit, like straight, but it looked like it was kind of turning the other way. So,
maybe we shouldn't have taken the video away. Let's go back to it and see if it finds him a parking spot.
I wasn't sure. I assumed he was leaving, but maybe if he was just getting there,
I think
then
he's entering.
Okay, then that would have been the right thing to do. But I'm just kind of curious in general, like if you were like parked at the airport or something like that, and you need to get out of these complicated parking structures, is it going to follow the exit signs?
All right. Yeah, I think looks
like it's just going to cut out.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like that sort of awareness of, are we at the beginning or the end of our drive, and are we trying to exit or find a parking spot? It seems like it is capable of doing that, but I'm just curious how complicated of a garage can it get out of now, and is it actually reading signs that say exit this way or exit to the right? So yeah, I just can't wait to get this and try it myself, honestly.
Ashoka Laswamy said, they're going to be iterating on this before the end of the year, multiple updates before the end of the year. So curious to see what they're able to add from here. I'm guessing the braking thing will be cleaned up. It's disappointing. There's a little bit of a regression that way, but if that's the only regression, that would be great. Great news. Also curious how it's doing on the highway.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say on the braking thing, it seems to be the case that Tesla is always more cautious at the beginning of a new point release like this. Mm-hmm. So maybe they've just got like the caution levels dialed up higher than would be normal, and then as they get more data and run some more of these simulations on, okay, what was the situation that the car actually braked for? was that necessary or not, I'm sure they'll take the reins off a little bit, because this does seem to be a somewhat consistent pattern where the car behaves more cautiously, at the early stages of a new release.
Mm. Chuck was very excited about it. He said that they should need to send this version to everyone, even if it's a little rough. Send it. It's better than v13. The picky Canadian might disagree with that, Devin Olson, but I'm loving what I'm seeing with parking and reverse. Excited to see it, try out some more roundabouts in my area. Also highway. So I'd love for more people to get their hands on it quickly, and us not to be waiting several weeks.
Yeah. So I'm also curious too, because in all the videos I saw, it was with the new Model Y, which has the bumper cam. So I'm wondering, as that goes to other vehicles that don't have that bumper cam, is the performance going to be a little bit different? So I'm kind of curious about that.
So Black Model 3 was trying it out. The guy in Canada was in a Model 3. So I don't.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
You mean a front bumper cam? Yeah, he wouldn't have a front bumper cam.
The 3 doesn't have that?
No, the 2024 3 does not.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that's good news then, that it's not like they've overfit this version for the front bumper cam, and then like all of us with who don't have that are like on the equivalent of hardware 3, where you just don't get that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm real excited about this. I think maybe they don't do it in the robotaxi yet because of the braking, because that might be jarring for some people. But like otherwise, it's safe enough for robotaxi, I'm guessing. I gotta think it's ready. I'm curious how it's doing in Austin. I think this is a really exciting day, and I think this is a major improvement on version 13. I was pounding the table that it would be a major improvement, and I think generally we're seeing that beyond it has a jerky brake here and there. Like it is a noticeable difference in like starting and parking and restarting, etc.
So
the handling of the emergency vehicle, like that was perfect. It immediately got over. It wasn't like uncomfortably waiting. Is it going to get over or not? Like it immediately got over.
So here's a question: is it feature complete now? It seems to be. Is there like maybe there's some like minor situations that it wouldn't handle perfectly yet, but to me this seems like the feature complete version where it will go point to point, whether you're at home, going to home, at a public space, in a parking garage, parking on the street, and it will handle everything. If you're going to a supercharger, it's truly end to end. Like now you could literally travel across the country without intervening, presumably, as long as it's safe enough. And all you would have to do is like get out and plug in your charger. Like that's actually pretty wild. I think we're there on feature complete FSD.
If I was that famous boxing announcer, I would say it's time. He says it a little more emphatically, though.
He does, yeah.
I wimped out on that one.
You did. You got to go for it. Just embrace the weird. Just...
Oh, I'm so excited. I am so excited.
I know. I keep checking my phone and am getting disappointed. But like, it kind of reminds me of the old days, because
some tricks as far as like triggering an update. Some people do like the standard versus advanced, like on the screen of the car. Mm-hmm. Just going and checking in the software of the car, like sometimes that'll cause like it'll to recognize, oh, I got an update waiting for me. So if you go there and manually check, sometimes I'll be on the app and I'll this actually happened once, and Jeff Lutz did this as a joke, but it actually worked for me. I don't know if this was like 10.69 or something, but I went to the app and I commanded my car to fart, and like it woke up and is like, "Oh, I have an update ready."
That's funny. One other tip you guys can all use: have your mom ask Elon if you can get the V14.
Yeah,
because he's pretty receptive to that these days.
yep. Especially if it's like an anime waifu that's asking for your mom.
Yeah, even better.
Yep.
Anything else on V14, or should we talk about the newest models that Tesla has introduced today? Or trims, I guess I should say, not models.
I mean, we could change the subject, but I'm so excited. This is a major improvement. I don't think people. I think people might be a little cool on it. I know the stock was down. We didn't get like a Tesla compact model today, but it looks really good. So I'm curious as more content comes out, as like AI Driver does his video, as Dirty Tesla puts together more videos and gets them out on YouTube, and we start to see more and understand how it's doing. I think people will begin to understand like how much better this version truly is. So I'm excited. I don't think I'm overhyping it. Like you saw with the Chuck videos, like version 13 could not do that.
Nope.
It could not do that. So all right. So let's talk about these other models.
So we knew this was coming. You look disappointed to not be talking about FSD.
I know.
Maybe we can make this quick and then come back to FSD and how excited that is. We didn't even talk about Kung Fu Optimus. Maybe we should make some time for that towards the end.
I think Jared. I think that the actor was pretty upset with Kung Fu Optimus.
It looked like he was giving a really half-hearted attempt to interact with it. It was weird. Anyways,
not in the Actors Guild, and
I thought it looked pretty sweet. Let's talk about these new lower priced Model 3 and Model Y trims. I mean, honestly, not too much surprising here, I don't think. So we've got the stats here. So the base Model Y, or basic, whatever they're calling it now, is just under $40,000, $37,000 for the Model 3. 321 miles of range, so obviously lower there, and like slower acceleration speed. More minimalist interior. You don't have the glass roof on the Model Y. You don't have the rear screen, so removing a lot of stuff for a $5,000 lower entry price. Honestly, this is about exactly what I was expecting. There were some people who were thinking it'd be like a $7,500 or $10,000 lower price. That, like, to me, I can't remember if it was on this stream last week or if it was on the stream I was on with Herbert, but I was basically saying, like, how are you going to strip out $10,000 worth of cost by, like using some slightly cheaper materials? Like, that just doesn't make sense if you're not structurally like reducing the size of the car. If you're just like reducing the vegan leather and like some of the more premium things, that's not going to total $10,000. So to me, this price point seems pretty consistent with what I was expecting. It should hopefully help lessen the blow a little bit with the tax credit being removed now. But I don't think this is any sort of like significant game changer or massive, demand stoking type of thing. But I think what it will do is allow some more people to have an entry level Tesla that maybe couldn't have afforded one otherwise, especially now that these tax credits are gone in the United States. But I haven't heard your take on it yet. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a ton to add. This is about as expected. I don't think most people were expecting the Model 3 as well. So I think most people were focused on the Model Y. And I'm curious if there's anything more today. We did get an update on what we thought was maybe some kind of fan for an active fan to keep the the roadster molded to the road. So when it's doing 0 to 60 in 1 second, it's got the tires glued to the road. So this is just from the Model 3 Standard Edition.
Yeah, which honestly, this is some of the stuff that Tesla does that I just find kind of annoying. I think they knew that this was going to prompt a lot of speculation about oh, is it a cooling fan for some new data center product? There was all that sort of stuff, and it's no, it's a wheel cover. But people were talking about the wobble. They must have known that there'd be some speculation, and then more to the point, they actually added on these jet engine kind of noises, which very clearly are not the real noises that would be emitted from this product. So to me, it was just a way to kind of hype up something. I don't know, if you're trying to reach a broader audience, I don't know. I don't think that was the way to do it. So I think I was modestly disappointed with the fact that they did hype that up so much. Thankfully, I didn't get too involved in trying to speculate exactly what this might be, but yeah, I would say mildly disappointed that we didn't get a bit more, since they had this other teaser, which to me didn't look like anything that would have been a cheaper version of anything. Yeah, I guess that's it. Probably nothing to add on that.
We still have someone clinging to the Archer Aviation.
Oh yeah, I heard a lot of people, speculating on that.
That to me, the reason for that is there was a picture with Optimus and Cybercab in some kind of garage that also had the Archer vehicle in it. But no, it's the wheel cover of the Model 3.
Sad panda.
Yeah. I think it's good they were able to knock out $5,000 from the car. I'm curious how it goes from here. Curious if it's still around a year from now. I gotta think it would be. These are meaningful drops in the average price of the car. So it's more than a 10% discount for both models. It's $5,000. If you're not a Teslaner, this is real money. So
yeah.
I think it's meaningful what they're doing.
It does make me think, though, if we still had that $7,500 tax credit, I mean, these things would be flying. We'd have no questions about demand for Q4. I mean, if you could get a brand new Model 3 for $30,000, man, that'd be extremely compelling.
Yeah.
So slightly disappointed that we've lost that, but at the same time, had they not done anything to reduce cost on the back of these tax credits expiring, that would have made demand a lot more difficult to sustain in this period. So
here's an interesting thought, Matt. So Model Y, I think, costs less than $30,000 to make. I could be wrong on that, but if they're selling it for $40,000, or what is it, 30? Let's see what it is. They're selling it for $40,000. There's still some gravy in there that they're getting. They could lower the price a little more over time.
Yeah, it probably depends too on how meaningful some of these new manufacturing processes are in terms of reducing costs. This is supposed to be the partial unboxed process, that's going into these lower priced vehicles. So I suspect that that's not going to be there's going to be some kinks to work out in that manufacturing process. So curious to see kind of what they say about that on the earnings call, if anything. Sometimes they can be a little cagey around the details.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they can get costs down a little bit more. But that said, I mean, I think the story from here with Tesla, isn't, lowering ASP and cost of goods sold on, these vehicles. It's FSD and increasing take rate. So of course, I hope that, volumes are higher, and I'd love it if we could do, over 500,000, somewhat regularly on a quarterly basis. But I think the real key from here is what happens with Robotaxi and with FSD take rate. What are we looking at now? Why'd you pull this one up?
So yeah, our editor had gotten this ready. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the headlights of the lower cost Model Y. So I think it you know, if you want the glitz and the glam, you gotta go with the higher cost there. So I think I like the decision, but I'm not a big fan of the lower cost one, the look of it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does not look as cool as what are they calling it, premium now?
Yeah,
The premium Model Y, but like also it shouldn't.
right.
Like, if you're paying the premium for the better version, like, I don't know, it should look a little bit better. Maybe
Yep.
that's a bit vain, but I do think that's if you're upcharging that much, you do expect something that's a bit more visible on the outside, in addition to just like the creature comforts inside.
All right, so let's check out Optimus, and I want to talk a little about AMD and OpenAI and NVIDIA, because that's a circle there. But let's see Optimus in action here. They said this was end-to-end AI, so this was not teleoperated. It might have been choreographed. It might have learned this in simulation.
So, despite them clarifying that, it didn't stop Jim Chanos for saying, "Hey, look at that guy who's got the remote control in the background," as if like this is some Xbox game where you hit like XXYZ and move the joystick, and it's going to do all those complicated moves. Like, I just like. Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of this phrase, but I just wanted to shout like, "Okay, boomer!" Like you have no understanding of like AI or robotics or like what end to end means or like any of this. If that was your takeaway, so yeah, Chanos was good for a laugh this time around. So I mean, it is cool. I think most people have probably seen this and the Tron premiere, which had the really cool looking black and white robot also. So kind of cool to get some buzz that way. But what's more interesting, I think, is how good Optimus is getting. I mean, just I personally was not expecting it to be kind of this dexterous and capable of handling all these complex things. I mean, when it first did that like dancing video several months ago, people were like, "Oh, this is fake. This is just like AI generated video," and it's like, no, it's actually capable of all these moves. So like the level of control of its physical body that it has is like next level. And so I think the key from here is, okay, how do you clearly it understands how to handle itself. How do you help it to understand a task and to do economically meaningful work? So that's the real, kind of test from here, which is more important than, how impressive can you do a Hollywood premiere with Tron and Jared Leto. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see where this product goes, because the amount of progress that they've made in the last year is really phenomenal, and I think they've still held their cards pretty close to their chest with what they're capable of right now.
Okay, so I know we have a post on this AMD, OpenAI, NVIDIA stuff, but I'm also going to do some of this from memory. So let me tee it up from like the first move that happened. So NVIDIA first said they were going to invest $100 billion in OpenAI, and OpenAI is going to turn around and put at least 10 billion of that into NVIDIA GPUs. So that's the contractually obligated portion of it. But they can do more, but they have to do a minimum of 10 billion purchase, I believe. So that leaves them with 90 billion in cash that they don't have to buy NVIDIA GPUs, but maybe they will. right? So that was a little awkward. But we just got some news. Was it Monday? Was it yesterday, or when was this? Like, it seems like time is just like going crazy. Was this last week?
I thought it was Monday. I thought it was just yesterday, but I agree with you. Like
I think it's yesterday.
This news flow has just been like a roller coaster to keep up with.
Yeah. So yeah, it's getting wild. So AMD said, okay, well, we're going to give you some of our company if you buy at least 1 gigawatt of our equipment. So OpenAI, does have to pay for the equipment, and they get warrants on 10% of AMD. And if they end up doing a total of 6 gigawatts, and if AMD's share price hits $600, then they fully vest on all these warrants. And I think, before yesterday or something, it was worth like 30 billion or something like that. But the maximum value of it's like 60 or 100 billion. So OpenAI's buying between, like, I don't know, 10 plus billion, maybe 60 to 100 billion total. But they're getting this gift from AMD to do it. Yeah. So like they're giving them ownership in the company. AMD's doing this. In my opinion, it's going to be a bit controversial. Like, you wouldn't give someone 10% of the company unless you felt you had to. And I know it could be a win-win, but still, like, you wouldn't do that unless you had to. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, and I was going to say, I mean, like, you can't really understand the context for feeling like you have to unless you see like how clearly NVIDIA is running away with this, AI data center, like GPU arms race. So I think what AMD clearly gets from this is like a validation of their tech, like, hey, like the cutting edge of, data center developer and like AI training, entity, OpenAI. They want massive amounts of our product to continue to have that leading edge. So look, we're competitive with NVIDIA, because if we weren't, they wouldn't be using this many of our chips. Now, but I think the counterpoint to that is, well, like, if you are OpenAI and like you're heavily reliant on NVIDIA, as the entire industry is right now, it's probably beneficial to have a little bit stronger competition out there, rather than just like it being a de facto monopoly and everybody knows that NVIDIA can just charge like whatever they want for these things. So, I think both things can be true, that, AMD might have felt that they had to, and that doesn't necessarily mean their tech is better. It might just be OpenAI, not only getting all these financial benefits, but applying a little bit of soft pressure to NVIDIA to say, like, we're just not going to just like hand you every data center, without any competition.
So I want to try and give an analogy, because I think, some people don't quite get it. And I understand, like, this took me a while to struggle through. So Matt, I know you're a Tesla fan. I'm guessing you own a Tesla. Don't take any of this personal. I'll buy your Tesla.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. You're talking to Matt Senkow.
I am.
I was like, that I own a Tesla. What are you talking about? All right, I'll shut up.
I'll buy your Tesla, but only if you give me $60,000 of your Tesla stock. I mean, that's basically the deal that OpenAI got from AMD. Just about, más o menos, more or less. So, like, you wouldn't give me 60,000 of your Tesla stock for me to buy your car. Like, no one would do that. So you would only do that if you felt you needed to. There were, these competitive pressures, or you needed like a big project to really get going in the space of gigantic data centers. So AMD, I think there's a win-win here. It creates this incentive. It's almost like Elon's pay package. So it's like there's this incentive that, if the stock is 600 in the future and you do 6 gigawatts, so like we're putting this target up on the screen so we can aim for it, right? So you're creating all that in the share price, and maybe a raise off of the share price or something like that. So there might be some other benefits, but like that's a really big gift to give, and I think they had to do it. So I won't repeat myself anymore.
So maybe we can end it on this question, which I think a lot of people are thinking about, but I'm just looking at the interconnectedness of this space more and more. I mean, obviously Microsoft owns a huge chunk of OpenAI. There's this Oracle news that we spoke about a few weeks ago. So that's kind of increasing the interconnectedness. Now we've got AMD selling part of itself to OpenAI, and like there's these commitments to build all this additional infrastructure. I think it's pretty clear that at least for the time being, all this infrastructure is legitimately being built. There's massive demand for this. But at some point, like if the spending slows down, or if the data center build, stops, or if let's just say OpenAI, I think they seem to me to be kind of like the linchpin of a lot of these different companies that have like their fingers in the honeypot. Like if OpenAI were to just like, let's just say lose the AI race to XAI and Grok, let's just say like they get leapfrogged and like they just can't keep up for whatever reason. Just a hypothetical. I'm not saying that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But like you're going to have presumably a pretty significant write down of the stock, which is then going to impact Microsoft, and that's going to lower demand for Oracle and for NVIDIA and for AMD. So like you got this ripple effect of like a lot of fragility and interconnectedness in this space, I think. And I like, it also seems clear to me that like you're not going to have like 6 different winners in this space. Like you're not going to have a Perplexity and a Gemini and a Grok and like all these other, like there's going to be some models that just like end up winning out, and some companies that can't afford to continue to spend the hundreds of billions on data centers. So at some point, like a shoe is going to fall for at least one of these companies, and there's going to be some fallout on the others. Even if the AI trend overall isn't overhyped and we continue on this path, like there's going to be a little collateral damage along the way. To me, it just does. It seems like there's no way to avoid that, because like you're not going to have like perfect competition of all these models into perpetuity. Like something's going to like get stuck at some point. So that's more of a comment than an observation than a question, but I'm just curious how that strikes you.
So it makes me think about network effects. So, some of the more astute posts that I was seeing yesterday on this was that OpenAI has like something like 700 million active users that are using it each week or something like that. Billions of tokens every day. It's pretty crazy, or every hour, something nutty like that. So they're the linchpin. They're the 800-pound gorilla. It's not the 700-pound gorilla. It's the 800-pound gorilla.
Let's not sell it short.
So I think that that kind of scale has to be respected. And Google became the dominant provider in search. Meta in social media. They're not the only ones in social media now, but they still are extremely dominant social media. And those network effects have a huge benefit to them. And it's something that Tesla is going to have to clash with robotaxi versus Uber and Lyft. I know it's a bit controversial, and I'm not sure I agree yet, but I think Uber has something like 350 million users, monthly users, or something like that, globally. So it may be a bit for Tesla, a moment or two for Tesla to supplant that, even if they're very successful with the software on autonomy, even if they're able to get rid of the safety monitor. All those active users do have a benefit to them. So I think OpenAI is in the catbird seat. That's a good seat, right? You want to
you want to be in the catbird seat. Yeah, you used it appropriately.
Does that mean like the cat's in the seat and it's going to catch the bird, or what does it mean?
I have no idea what the origin of that is. We'll have to ask ChatGPT since it's in the catbird seat. Hey, what seat are you in? What does that even mean?
Yeah, so I think OpenAI is in a great position here, and their developer conference yesterday, also showed that they're coming out with agents. They're coming out with their own agentic coding with Codex, going up against Anthropic's Claude code. So just curious to see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting for sure. Like, I don't think there's ever been a more interesting time to be alive and just witness this. I mean, we're talking just a couple minutes ago about like, hey, what day was that AMD went up 25%? Because like that type of news is just so common these days. It's like, like if we really are on this exponential, you would expect these kind of crazy days to start blurring together, and it just feels subjectively like we are in this kind of accelerating time frame where years worth of progress are happening in months and then weeks. And just as an investor, it's a super exciting place to be.
All right. So version 14, I think you all can tell how excited we were about it. It was fun to do live reactions to those videos. Appreciate your attention today.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
He's Matt Smith. I'm Bradford Ferguson. We're with Rebellionaire. To learn more about us, you can go to rebellionaire.com and check us out. With that, I'm going to say bye for now.
Bye for now.